That Word became flesh and lived among us. The word for word is logos in Greek and is associated with knowledge, reasoning and wisdom. In O Come Emmanuel, the third verse of the songs calls for wisdom to come from above and bring order to all things. Wisdom is showing us the path of knowledge we need to go in the right direction. Joseph didn't know it, but God had previously ordained this union between him and Mary, and God would see to it that it happened. Just when Joseph was about to feel good about the course of action he was about to take, God sent him in a different direction. God sent wisdom from above through an angel in a dream, who explained the rest of the story. The scriptures tell us 20 But after he had considered this, an angel of the Lord appeared to him in a dream and said, Joseph, son of David, do not be afraid to take Mary home as your wife, for what is conceived in she is from the Holy Spirit. 21 She will give birth to a son, and you must give him the name Jesus, because he will save his people from their sins. I think Joseph wanted some kind of direction from God to know that God was still with him, even in the midst of what seemed like a terrible loss. God gave that dream to Joseph. Anyone else might have written it off as wishful thinking, or too much kale at dinner, or whatever. The point is that even when it seems like God has forgotten us because of God's silence, God is still taking care of our situation. God is feeling 738 our pain, and God knows when and how to intervene. Joseph wasn't going to let anyone try to convince him of what he had dreamed of. He was willing to go and humble himself before Mary and ask her forgiveness for not believing him. He was willing to endure the scorn and ridicule of others who would label him as the guy who just couldn't wait until the wedding night. He wasn't as righteous as they had first thought. Joseph's goal was to return to normal thanks to the wisdom that came from above. When he woke up, he went to find Mary and brought her to her house as his wife, but they waited until Jesus was born before having sexual relations with each other. The Holy Spirit used Matthew to connect the Old Testament event of Isaiah and King Ahaz to the New Testament event of Mary and Joseph in writing the Gospel of Matthew. 22 All this happened to fulfill what the Lord had said through the prophet. 23 The virgin will conceive and give birth to a son, and they will call him Emmanuel, which means God with us. There are several things that happen in the scriptures that have a double meaning and connect to the prophecies about the Messiah or the Christ. We see this double meaning of an event again in the Old Testament, when God calls his son out of Egypt, referring to God's people. Then in the New Testament, when God tells Joseph to bring Mary and Jesus out of Egypt and return them to Israel, the writer tells us that it is a fulfillment of the prophecy of Hosea 11:1. Now that Mary and Joseph have gathered, they could wait together for the arrival of this child. There is no doubt in any of their minds that Jesus is going to be different. The angel who came to Joseph in the dream gave Joseph the privilege of giving him the name Jesus, because it is this child who will save his people from his sins. When God called Abraham in the Old Testament to create a people for himself, Abraham became the father of the Jews. Abraham was, at first, a Gentile aspect to everyone else. But when God first called Abraham and made him a promise, the promise was not just for the Jews, but for the whole world. God told Abraham in Genesis 12:1-3-1-2 The Lord had said to Abram, Go from your country, from your people, and from your father's house, to the land that I will show you. 2 I will make you into a great nation, and I will bless you. I will make your name great, and you will be a blessing. 3 I will bless those who bless you, and whoever curses you I will curse, and all the people of the earth will be blessed through you. I want you to see that God has never given up on reaching out to the people or all groups around the world. In the final stanza of O Come Emmanuel, we see the cry for the desire of the nations to come and for unite all people in one heart.